Hello and welcome to the table. We are going to be doing Where There Is Discord, War in the South Atlantic. This is a pretty old game, 2013, 14 maybe? I mean, I know there's a lot older, I mean, don't get me wrong, but I mean, for modern standards, this is an older game. And believe it or not, I can't find a playthrough anywhere on YouTube. So this one and Code Word Cromwell are games that I wanted to do, and I've had both of them for an awful long time. I was able to do Code Word Cromwell. That's a game that I've played many times, and it wasn't very hard or difficult to get into and show you. This game, however, was completely unpunched for me, and so this is going to be a journey. Doesn't seem that difficult. But so let me give you my usual disclaimers if you're new to the series or to my style of videos. There's really two major things I want to announce right away. The first one is if you're looking for gameplay and you don't want to discuss the rules or the setup, go to video 2. Okay? The second thing, and this is probably the most important thing, I've never played this before. So I'm going to be fumbling through the rulebook. I'm going to be looking things up. The rulebook, in fact, says don't read the rulebook. Just start at step 1 and then reference the rulebook as you go. Which, to the credit of whoever wrote this rulebook, it is excellently done in that kind of fashion. Now, it makes it very difficult to look up something later as a reference. And I ran into that with Code Word Cromwell. Like, you know it's in the rulebook, but you just can't remember where. But as far as a step-by-step, go through the rulebook kind of thing, it's very good. So I have the game set up, and there's a lot of tokens in this game, some of which I still don't know what they do. So we're going to discover it as we go. So the big thing is there's a step-by-step in the rulebook for how to set it up, and what you see here is that step-by-step. So first things first, they have you set up the Argentinian forces. And by the way, this is the Falklands War, and we are playing the role of the British Empire. And then the Falklands War is about, obviously Argentina basically claiming it for themselves, these Falkland Islands here. So the Argentinians have aircraft ready to go, and basically, you have to find them in here. I'll show you here. This is the Super Untadin, I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even, Etendard, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's, it goes there. So they'll tell you, there's 2 of them, and they go in Rio Grande, and then you have some Skyhawks and Rio Gallegos, and then some daggers, etc., all the way up the chain. Okay? Way up there. In Puerto Belgrano are 2 submarines. Okay, so those are ready to go. They're in port. They're not actually out, and about, but they're in port ready to go. Now, off to the side there, you see there's 3 tokens. Those are actually Argentinian warships. They're not even available yet. And so it flat out tells you to just set them aside. So I put them right by the port, and they would be added as, I guess, as events or whatever occur in the game. Okay, so then the next thing you do is you have to, you shuffle these, but these are done in a specific order. They start at the number 1, and they go all the way through, I think, to 16, and they have to be in numerical order. And then Operation Sutton is at the very last part. So I think historically, Operation Sutton represents, the British forces are actually moving towards the Falklands. They weren't, stationed there, like the U.S. is in the Mideast or something like that. So it took them a while to actually progress to the point where they can get close enough to the island to do an amphibious invasion. And Operation Sutton is that amphibious invasion. And historically, it occurred on the 21st of May. So you can see we have this nice little calendar. We're starting on May 1st, 1982. And you can also see that I have some reinforcements set up, and they're set up on the day that they would be reinforcing. And then also the designer used this as a two-edged sword. So, for example, this is a calendar, but the Exocet rockets there, the stock is on 5, and then the supply is on 14. Those are actual numbers. So if you get another rocket, that would go up to 6. So this calendar also serves as a quantity. So that's something you need to bear in mind. Okay, lots of dice come with the game, and there is a notation I want to point out because I think it's extremely important if you're new to the game. Obviously, there's a D12, and it'll be represented in the game with a lowercase d, right? A D12, right? But they also use a capital D12. A capital D12 is this situation. So that's a capital D12, that's a lowercase d12, okay? And when you see in the rule books that you're supposed to do, do a d12 roll or whatever, be careful, right? Because a capital D12 means something different than a lowercase. Statistically speaking, these are different odds, okay? So that's an important thing. Make sure you're aware of that. All right, the next thing you have to do is, so on page 51, I think it is. I'm doing this with one hand. Let me put the camera down for a second. It's actually like the last page, second to last page, page 57. There's a chart here, task group 317.8, okay? And this is European standard, so that date of arrival was actually May 1st, 1982, not January 5th, 1982. So bear that in mind for those of you who are on the American side of the ocean. So that's May 1st. So this is the task force that you start with. And I can't tell you enough how angry I was getting because there's so many of these tokens, right? And it's like, how do I identify what's what? And the task force isn't even like in alphabetical order. So you're looking at the names of these ships, like HMS Arrow and the Alacrity. And it was just like a nightmare until I figured out that the class over here means something. So see how it says Type 42, Type 21, County, Carrier, SSN, etc. They did an excellent job of putting, like this is the I was going to say Roethlisberger. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, so bear with me here. This is a T-21, so you can see there's two T-21s. There's the T-42s. These are your carriers. So once you start looking at these little symbols, it gets real easy to filter them out. I was having a bear of a time until I figured that out. So hopefully you will be smarter than me and be able to do that. Now, as I said, there was a whole bunch of them that were listed as May 1st, and then there's a bunch of them listed at other dates. Those other dates go there. That's where those came from. And also bear in mind, like there's T-42s over here. See the Exeter there? And there's T-42s over here. So you can't just sort them by T-42s and say, and then wash your hands of it. You still have to sort through them. But man, oh man, it's so much easier once you figure out that Type 42s are this and that and the other thing, okay? So, yeah, you're going to set up the May 1st stuff here, and then you're going to set up the other stuff there. Now, this, as I said, I've never played the game before. However, I can tell you that the Argentinian forces are going to be doing airstrikes against us. So everything that's in the middle there, the task force, that's where our carriers, that's where our juicy targets are, right? So everything's in the middle in the task force zone. And the rules are explicit. The carriers have to be there. The support ships have to be there. The troop ship has to be there, etc. Everything else, though, you can place anywhere you'd like. And as you can see, I kept them with their various task forces. So the Rothlander or whatever they're called are together. You don't have to do that. So now what's the purpose? The purpose of putting these on the outer ring is they'll be able to intercept and provide cover, right? So if the air strike is coming in, these ships will be able to shoot anti-aircraft or somehow intercept those aircraft as they're coming in, okay? And then you're also going to have, we have Harrier jets, so basically the British had nothing but Harriers, I guess. And so you can send these on CAP, Air Patrol, and they can only go to locations where you have escort ships around your carrier group. So for example, I didn't put an escort in the southeast, and I cannot send a CAP there either. Okay, so that's some of the rules I am already aware of. I've never played the game. I don't know the impact of things, but I can at least tell you that much. Okay, now those little pips that are on there, this is just like Settlers of Catan. You're going to roll a capital D 12, which means you're going to roll 2 6-sided dice. And so as you can see, the 7 and 9, just like a game of craps, right? Those are your best odds there. The 6 and the 8 are your next best set of odds, and then they're 5, and then 4, then 3, etc. So, so you're just playing an odds game here, and I'm banking on the fact that I'm not going to roll a 2 or a 3. Okay, and watch that be the first and second thing I roll. But as you can see, 7 is already the highest odds, and then they added a 9 there too. So the primary way they're going to be coming in is through there. And so I put 3 ships on that one. There is this thing called a defense zone here, and we can put 5 counters there. And it is possible, what I understand that to mean is the defense zone is for naval combat, right? I don't think it helps with anti-air. And remember, the jets are ready to go. See all those jet planes there? And then there's 2 submarines that they have, but they're in port. I have no... This is where, if I had played the game before, I can give you better advice on what to do. But what I decided to do was not put anything in the 10. Okay? I'm going to reserve the right to change that when we're playing, if I figure out that that was a stupid move. But for now, I'm going to leave it be. Okay? So the next thing, and this is the thing that I am completely puzzled on. These are the transport ships, and you can see the name of the ships here. And then there's 2 other ships like Q2 or something else. And these numbers I can definitively tell you is the number that they deploy. So these aren't coming out until May 25th. These are coming out on May 13th, May 1st. So you can see the days that they would arrive. And what we were told to do was put our troops on these transports. So I don't know what any of these troops mean. Like, you know, I have commando units. Great. How is that different than an air brigade? Other than this is an 8 and that's a 6. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. Can I take all of my troops and just do a mega stack right here on the first turn? It doesn't say. At least not in the setup. It doesn't say. So there is one rule, though. It says that this Blues and Royal is not allowed to be on either of these ships. It has to be on one of these down here. And beyond that, it doesn't give us any instructions. So what I did was I just sorted them, and I think I have 10 here and 10 there, and then I put the rest here, and I decided that May 25th is too late in the game. I don't really want to come with troops that late in the game. I mean, what's the point? The game ends on May 28th. So I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. The rules were, in my opinion, very poor in explaining what do you do here. Now, once I get into reading the details, right, because remember it said that we should start playing, then it might become more clear. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to mention, and I should have mentioned this very early, was this is one of those games where I'm going to record my first playthrough and let you discover the game with me. I get a lot of feedback, by the way. Some of you really love that, and some of you just loathe it. But those of you who love it tend to be the ones that watch a lot of my videos, and the ones that loathe it are just the random people who come and go. So I'm catering to those of you who tend to stick around. So this is a perfect game for us to learn, and then once we get it figured out, then we may tear it apart and just reset it up and have a second playthrough. And what I meant to say at the beginning of this video is you know, if you're interested in skipping the learning phase, right, and you just want to see me show you how to play a game that I already know how to play, jump to the second playthrough if there is one, because that'll be a lot cleaner. I guarantee you I'm going to make mistakes on this. And I guarantee you I'm going to get frustrated because the rules aren't going to explain to me what in a way that I want to. It doesn't matter. Part of joining me at the table is we're having fun, right? We're having fun playing a game. And hopefully I'm trying to... I haven't ever made a mission statement about my videos, but I'm trying to do games that no one else will do. And this game is one of those. So was Code Word Cromwell. And so it's my goal to at least have one video series out there, however excellent or poor it might end up being, so that you can at least have something to help you to get through the rulebook a little more cleanly, because I tend to like those as well. So anyways, last but not least, we have to set these up. There's tokens that say like Ascension Island, and it goes on the Ascension Island space. So these are pretty easy to figure out. The international and domestic opinion starts on 10. And I can tell you that as international opinion goes down, these things unlock, and they're all bad. You don't want that. These are all good things for you, that the fact that they're there. Eventually they go away. So like this would turn over, and that's a bad thing, okay? The domestic opinion... sorry, I got a phone call. I will see you in video 2.